Well, welcome back to this podcast series on rewirement for success. My name is George, and I am a certified transformational trainer. And I want to tell you why I'm doing these podcasts. 3 years ago, when I was confronted with retirement, yes, that's right, retirement, I was terrified. I thought my life was coming to an end, and I needed to understand what this meant for me. I didn't know where to begin. But then I discovered how to rewire my thinking, and it has transformed my life. Since then, I have talked with others about my experience, about E plus R equals O, and they said, you need to share this material right now, especially with what's going on in the world with COVID-19. The sooner that others know about this, they can then make informed decisions and take control of their life. So I totally recommend you don't wait until you are 63 years old, like I did, to learn about E plus R equals O. If you have questions for me, you can email me at yourrewirementforsuccess@gmail.com. Or please check out our Facebook page, Your Rewirement for Success. You can leave questions there or comments, and likes are always appreciated. This is the 11th podcast in the series of 13. If you send me an email, I will send you a copy of the e-workbook that you can work through to learn about practical examples of using E plus R equals O in your life. Email me, I will send you the workbook. So what are you pretending not to know? I have found this to be one of the most profound questions we can ask ourselves. It allows us to preemptively control our outcomes. It allows us to recognize the yellow alerts that are in front of us in our life and prepare our responses before the event happens. If you've ever driven a car, you've probably encountered yellow and red alerts before. You may have been on a highway and see the cars in front of you start to brake. You don't know what event is causing them to hit the brakes, but you likely respond by hitting your brakes as well. Next thing you know, you see debris on the road. And because you have been paying attention to the brake lights in front of you, you are able to safely avoid the debris. Now, if you've ever driven in icy conditions before, you may have seen the car in front of you start to slide or lose control on a patch of ice. Again, you likely respond by slowing down and driving carefully through that area of the road. We pay attention to those yellow and red alerts because the cost of not doing so is immediate. We could crash, we could hurt or die, we could hurt another driver, we could lose control of our vehicle and then access to our transportation system. But when we paid attention to the alerts, we were able to better control our response to that event before we arrived at the event itself. This is the power of paying attention to yellow alerts. The same yellow and red alerts show up in other areas of our lives as well, and if we are willing to pay attention to them, we can make strides in that area as well. So are you ignoring the bright lights in front of you? Or are you pretending that you won't slip on the patch of ice you know you are going to pass over? Let's take a look at what we are pretending not to know. Here are some examples from the workbook. So let's examine health. So here's an example. My cholesterol level is high. I'm pretending not to know that I am at risk for cardiovascular disease. Or, yeah, I drink several nights a week. I'm pretending not to know that I'm likely alcohol dependent. Well, what about money? My credit card debt is insupportable. I'm pretending not to know that I am at risk of bankruptcy. How about I just turned 50 and I'm pretending not to know that I'm financially unprepared for retirement? What about in our family? My teenager is distant and moody, and I'm pretending not to know that he might be using drugs. Or perhaps my mom's health has declined, and I'm pretending not to know that she needs expensive home care. Well, what about in our relationships? My husband gets calls at odd hours, and I'm pretending not to know that he might be having an affair. Or my girlfriend trash talks on Facebook, and I'm pretending not to know that she's immature. Well, what about in the area of your career? You ever seen any yellow alerts there? How about I am always missing the deadlines at work, and I'm pretending not to know that I'm at risk of losing this client? Or how about there are rumors at the office, and I'm pretending not to know that they're closing down our department soon? A good book to consider reading is Who Moved My Cheese? If you're not watching what's going on in your department. Lifestyle examples. My friends don't call. I'm pretending not to know that my work schedule is alienating my friends from me. Or I got another late notice, and I'm pretending not to know that I'm disorganized and chaotic. Another example, I got passed over for that role. I'm pretending not to know that my skills need upgrading. Finally, the taxes here have rocketed, and I'm pretending not to know that I can't afford to retire in this location. So these are the three questions that I think you need to review and ask yourself. Number one, what are you pretending not to know? What is the cost of not taking action? In other words, ignoring what you're pretending not to know. And what action will you take to control your outcome now that you know and have recognized that there's our yellow alerts in front of you? So as you can see, the questions are getting harder, and there's more things to consider. The power of E plus R equals O. It's amazing at how it can affect our life. So thanks for listening to this podcast, and I hope you are successful working through your yellow alerts. And I will talk to you again in the next podcast. Bye for now.